We are live. All right, let's go. X20 F10. Boom, boom, boom. X20. Forecaster, even the forecaster recommendations are getting really better. So exciting times. Exciting times. Let's go. What are you doing? Open X, Twitter, home timeline, logged in, account, scroll the home feed, load at least, da da da. All right, doing the work. Limes on Forecaster, Tony on Forecaster. Approximately 150 cost. Okay, you're doing it. Prepare a concise summary with direct quotes. The author invites high signal, return the final rank list with the computed metrics. There is some metrics that is being used, which is very interesting. All right, exactly the same stuff. Today I was looking into, this is like way better. I'm looking into this My First Million. All right, master the game, perfect. Robert Greene, we are looking into this, and the best thing we can do is give me a summary. Or maybe we can also listen to him. What does he says something about courage. Authenticity is overrated. Find your purpose. Boldness attracts, timidness repels. Who's playing the power game well today? Turning a disaster into attention, breaking through a 37. Okay, let's see. This is the one we are really, really interested in. How long is this? This is 5 minutes.
You have a few of these quotes that are so good. I just want you to unpack them. So I kind of want to read you something that stood out to me that resonated and just hear you.
Yeah, today we'll just start the stream with listening to Robert Greene talking about boldness attracts, timidness repels.
You kind of riff on it and maybe where that comes from or where you think that needs to be applied, or like if you could shake somebody to sort of hear this message. You know, what's that? Because one of my tweets today, it was great. You talked about how being timid is very dangerous. And you basically said, don't take action when you have hesitation or doubt. It infects your execution. And the quote was, timidity is dangerous. It is very dangerous. And you basically said, don't take action when you have hesitation or doubt. It infects your execution. And the quote was, timidity is dangerous. Be better to enter with boldness. Any mistakes that you commit through audacity are easily corrected with more audacity. Everyone admires the bold. No one honors the timid.
It's a very important quote for me because timidity is to me...
It's a very important quote for me.
one of the worst things that I think people have, right? And it's what is causing you to not be successful in life, right? Boldness is the most important quality that you can develop. And first of all, get rid of this misconception that some people are born bold and others are born timid. When we're a child, we're bold as hell. All children are born bold, right? They know what they want, they scream, they yell, they get their parents to do things. The parents are their slaves, essentially. Children are born bold. You become timid, it becomes a habit. You become afraid, you become deferential, you're always saying yes, you're always trying to please people. Your face just becomes like that, and you lose a sense of that boldness that you once had. And the main thing around that idea is that people are assessing you in these kind of nonverbal ways. They're reading your body language. And when they can sense that you don't have confidence, that you're doubtful, that you're hesitant, they don't want to join you, they don't want to be part of your team, they don't want to listen to you, they tune you out, they don't respect you, okay? So if you start something, a project, a business, you're not quite sure of it, that kind of radiates outward, that spirit of your hesitation. People can feel it, and it has
This is kind of so interesting. This is so interesting. I was talking to my buddy last night. We had a nice walk across the lake, or ocean, whatever, across the water, and it was amazing. Like, we were talking about good stuff. We were talking about what do you want to do next and stuff like that. And he's like, "Hey, I figured out like a couple of things that I really like. I love cheerleading. I love helping people figure things out for them. I love when someone says that they have an idea. I love to be the cheerleader and help them actually do it." And I'm like, I don't like that really, because most of the time, if people need a cheerleader, this means that they're not doing things. They are just talking about doing things, but not actually doing things. And that actually sucks the energy out of you. And we ended up in the same conversation then, where he is like, I want to do this thing. And I'm like, okay, then do it. And he's like, oh, no, but I will not. And I'm like, this is exactly why I don't like that, because you want to be around people who are just doing things. You want to be around people who have an idea and who execute on that idea, and then they let the market decide whether this idea makes sense or not. They don't self-reject the idea. They never self-reject.
the quality that repulses people. They don't want to join you. But if you show boldness and confidence, even if it's not real, you fake it. Even if you make yourself believe that you're confident and bold, it excites people. We want to be around people like that. I know when I wrote the 50th Law and I first met 50 Cent, I was amazed by how confident this guy was. And it it made me feel ashamed that I'm not as confident as he is, that I was even a little bit timid. It excited me, and it excited everyone around him. They wanted to be part of his team. They wanted because it fed off of him. We all want to be infected by the energy of someone who's bold, who knows what they want, right? So that's the main thing is your first impressions are critical. And if people see you as timid and differential and all closed and not so certain, they're going to run away from you. They're unconsciously, they're not going to want to be part of your team.
Well, one of the best parts about this is there's so many levels to this. So when I tweeted this quote out, Dharmesh, who's this co-founder of a $20-30 billion company, retweeted it and says, "This is exactly what I needed to hear today."
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was
we just did a podcast with this guy, Hayes Warner. He's probably, I don't know, one of the...
Sean Puri. His book is banned in prisons, treasured by billionaires, and quoted by rappers. Wow, his book is banned in prisons. This is actually very interesting, right? Because they say that in prisons, the two things that people do is read books and work out. And they actually become killers. Like killers in the not in the killer sense, but killers means they become really they become dangerous. Because now you have a strong mindset. You were reading all this time, and you also really worked on your body. So now you also have a lot of strength. You have both mental strength as well as physical strength. College is wasted on the young. I used to skip classes. Grown adult me would kill to spend 8 hours a day reading books and listening to lectures. So true. In college, I couldn't wait to get out of reading and lectures to have free time. Now I can't wait for free time so I can read and listen to lectures, podcasts. I think, and this is just like, again, over romanticizing the stuff. I don't agree, because in college, you are again fed information that you are not curious about. Ideally, what you want is that if I'm curious about this thing, I want to go down that path. This doesn't make sense. Like there were some really boring lectures presented like done by professors who are not really interested in those topics. And if you are not into that thing, if you're not curious about that thing, you don't really care. So this is just like people who turn 35 and then they over romanticize their time in their 20s. Women born by discussing problems. Men born by doing the dumbest thing possible to avoid thinking and life problems. Actually, I'm curious, you can always do this. There's nothing stopping you. I'd probably get fired from my job if I went to college courses all day instead of working. Limiting beliefs. If you really want to do that, this is a limiting belief. Just do it. I think I have done this before, where I just went to UBC. I used to go to UBC just because I live in Vancouver downtown. UBC is a little bit further away from here, but I would actually go there just because I want to be around like young people and like the kids, because I had just turned 20. I had just graduated. I had just got into this new job, and I was like, I still want to be around that university energy. But right now with that confidence that, okay, I have my job figured out at least.
Top 1,000 wealthiest people in the world. And we wanted to do this podcast. And most people, when they come on the podcast, they might agree to do it. And then we sort of badger them to be like, hey, would you, can we get on a call, maybe talk a little beforehand, or hey, we got some ideas about what we might talk about. You publish so much work that we know where your thoughts are already. But for people who don't publish, like, you kind of want to find what are your big ideas. And most people put in very little effort. This guy Hayes is the exact opposite. He takes a ton of action, calls, he's got his own brainstorm. He's decided, if I'm going to enter this, if I'm going to do this, it doesn't matter if it's just a 2-hour podcast recording. Like, I'm going to try to do this as best as this can be done. And so he was like going full force, and he said, come out and hang out with me for the day. Come do my morning routine. Let's hang out all day. And then he's like, I do this thing in the middle of Lake Tahoe. I do the breath work. I jump in the ocean. I jump in the lake. It's cold. I watch the sunrise.
Also, it was really beautiful, the video that they released with Hayes Bernard. I'm saying that wrong, but Hayes. And I think that is kind of my inspiration we did the Barry Ball interview, and I was literally just holding my phone like this near my chest, and I'm like recording that entire conversation with Barry for 2 hours. And I'm like, I want to do more of this vlog and conversations. And what the thing they released with Hayes, that is like the top tier, like really highly produced, really well produced, and really well produced in terms of like the color grading and the video editing and the sound, but not really. I don't think there was a lot of like high retention cuts. It flowed naturally, and you see like, when the camera is shaking and you're still recording. Love that stuff.
And he goes, I'm on such a high. I'm in such a peak mental state. He's like, I think if we do the podcast right after that, it'll be the best podcast we could possibly do. So I go out there and I spend the day with this guy. He's so bold, meaning the way he just approaches life is super bold. Even after we do breathwork and stuff, he's like, you know what? every day I heard one great quote, do something new every day. It marks the day. It keeps you growing, keeps you fresh, keeps you alive. You know what I've never done? I've never swam to those rocks out there. Let's try to swim to those rocks. And so we jump in the water, try to swim to the rocks. And I'm just around this guy. And I asked him about Elon because he worked with Elon for about 10 years. And he talks about Elon the way I talk about him. He goes, I go, tell me, describe Elon in a word. He goes, the ultimate alpha. And because Elon, I would say, is probably the biggest example of boldness and like the solution to making a mistake through audacity is more audacity. I think he's the number one on earth out of 8 billion people at doing that. And seeing that this guy was around him and had the same impression of like, he thought he was timid once he saw, the level that Elon played at. I just thought there's so many levels to this.
Yeah, I mean, we're infected by the energy of the people around us, right? And we pick up things, we're too attuned to words, and we don't realize that there's an animal part of our nature. And that animal part of our nature is picking up the energy, the signs that we can read, and how people, in the tone of their voice, in how they stand in their posture. And when we feel somebody who's confident, it kind of rubs off on us. We want to be around it, we want more of it, right? I have a chapter in the 48 Laws of Power called Infection. And the opposite happens, where people who are overly dramatic or kind of drama queens, who always have some terrible thing happening to them, they're always a victim, and they sort of suck you into their drama and they can destroy your life. We're infected by the energy of the people around us. That's the most important takeaway that I would give here.
When you're seeing what's going on right now on social media or whatever, it's kind of fun after reading your book because I'm like, oh, that's interesting. There's that thing. There's that thing. Is there anyone out there who you not exactly look up to, but you're like, oh, they are playing the power game like textbook perfect?
It's a good question, but I don't really think I can answer it because the problem is that you do need time to see what people are truly like, So I remember some 25 years ago, or 24 years ago, I met a man named Doug Charney, who ended up becoming the founder of the company American Apparel. I met him when he was just starting out. Man, was charisma, he was insane level of confidence, right? He was incredible. And he built this factory, this vertically organized factory in Los Angeles. He created an empire, American Apparel. And I thought he was brilliant, and he got me to join the board of directors. I was on the board of directors for American Apparel for several years, until it ended. But then, over time, we realized the guy has incredible flaws, right? He doesn't have self-control. He seems confident, but in the end, he was making some really bad decisions because he wasn't flexible. So, I could say, certain artists who are able to sort of stay on top of their game seem to me to be kind of power plays because they know how to mix things up. And I mentioned someone like Beyonce. I'd say somebody like 50 Cent. I'd say people like Jay-Z. These are people who understand the attention game, how to play it, and that's a very important part of the 48 Laws of Power. Appearance is how you appear. But with politicians, I will not go anywhere near that because we have no way of knowing. We have no way of seeing in the present moment. I see so many stupid people out there who immediately react to something in the news and make their judgment. Oh, this was great, that was stupid. I'm sorry, you have no idea. In 2 years, we will know if it was great or if it was stupid. And in 20 years, we'll even have a better idea. And in 200 years, we'll even know for certain, right? So I can't even go near judging about political figures. Entertainers, I can see. I think we have some value there, some metrics. And in sports, obviously, we do. But
Who are some of those folks?
well, I'm being a little bit selfish here, but I'm friends with a head coach of the NBA, Mark Daigneault, who's the coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they just won the NBA championship. I knew him 8 years ago when he was the coach of the G League team of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And this guy is absolutely brilliant at the game of power. And it's not like he's Machiavellian, not at all. He's a great leader. But he understands there's no more difficult job in the world than being an NBA coach. You have 12 or 15 people with these incredible egos who all think they're the greatest, right? And you have to build them into a team, into a spirit that's one, that's unified, that wants to play the game right. He understands perfectly human nature and psychology, and he built himself from the ground up as a coach of the G League. And then he started off as the coach of the Thunder, and they were very bad the first couple of years, but he was very patient. He had a goal in mind. I tell people, we're so distracted, we're so confused in the social media world that we can't think, let alone 3 months ahead, but even try to think a year or 5 years ahead, like a plan, right? My God, I can't think that far ahead. But it's powerful. When you have a plan that goes 2 years, 3 years down the road, it gives you a sense of control, like, this is what I want, this is what's important, this feeds my overall goal, this is irrelevant. It doesn't mean you're inflexible, it just means that you have a direction. And people don't have direction these days. This man had direction, he had a plan, he knew exactly how he was going to lead his team to a championship. Now, of course, he couldn't predict everything, including draft, etc. But to me, the way he manufactured this recent championship is one of the most brilliant examples of the 48 Laws of Power. I'm not going to take credit for it by any means, but he's a figure on there who's going to be a coach to reckon with for the next 10, 20 years. He's the Phil Jackson of our era. He's somebody I would point out, and Phil Jackson was somebody that I greatly admired, who's definitely a man of power because he understood human nature and psychology.
I love that. I want to ask you about 50 Cent because when somebody says, hey, go to 50 Cent.
All right. This is it. I'll go into our analysis. How much time did we spend with that? 14 minutes. All right. That was good. That was good. Boldness attracts, timidness repels. All right. Andre Karpathy. We are always starting Karpathy. 16 minutes ago. Okay. Framer, a frontier paradigm shift, re-encoding knowledge sensors and actuators for LLM4 systems, points to rich opportunity space and concrete examples for textbook to perfect representation. Okay. Designing LM4 interfaces for the real world. Knowledge I/O is a massive, underexplored frontier. Yes, let's go. Andre Karpathy is right now just posting super long tweets. Random clock problem. Randomly pick hour, minute, and AM, PM. Compute the angle. Time string, linguistic variations, pick a variation. What is the angle between hour and minute? Hands at time. interesting. Transforming human knowledge, sensors, and actuators from human first and human legible to LLM first, and LLM legible is a beautiful space with so much potential and so much can be done. For every textbook, PDF, EPUB, there is a perfect LLMification of it intended not for a human but for an LLM, though it is a non-trivial transformation that would need human in the loop involvement. All of the exposition is extracted into a markdown document including all latex, styling, tables, list. All of the figures are extracted as images. I think I might need to add a shortcut. How does this help the civilization move forward? And we need to add this as a shortcut. Civilization relevance. All right. By making knowledge and tools natively legible to AI, we turn LLMs from passive predictors into. I think this is really cool. This is a great question for every new update that we see. That how is this relevant? How does this help the civilization move forward? Because what are we trying to do over here? What we are trying to improve the life of. You're trying to solve a user's problem. Why? Because then the user can think about bigger problems. It will save them time. It will make them more money. And we don't want to do it for one person ideally. We want to do it for as many people as possible, which means now we're thinking about civilization, which means now we're thinking about the next step function change for the civilization. So yeah, this is just, again, what do we call it? Just 5 eyes deep. And you understand that, okay, what you're trying to get to is how does this help the civilization move forward? We turn LLMs from passive predictors into active, verifiable learners and doers. That accelerates science education and productivity. LLMifying textbook sensors and actuators help civilization in these ways. Higher fidelity knowledge ingestion. Structured extraction. Markdown latex, tables, figures, reduces ambiguity and loss from PDF to text, letting models internalize concepts and references precisely. Okay. Worked examples become supervised fine-tuning data. Practice problems become supervised fine-tuning data. Practice problems become RL environments with ground truth keys, creating curricula with verifiable feedback loops. Infinite tailored education, synthetic problem generators yield synthetic problem generators yield unlimited graded practice, personalized by difficulty, misconceptions, and pacing at near zero marginal cost. This can raise global STEM proficiency, shrink tutoring gaps, and upskill workers faster. Better reasoning and evaluation, grounded answer keys, and programmatic checkers enable automatic verification, discouraging hallucinations, and encouraging tool using step-by-step reasoning. Oh, wow. I think I want to do X20 with this specific idea that unless my feed review the latest 150 posts, ignore the noise. Actually, let's go 200 posts, ignore the noise, and give me the top 20 high signal posts that are helping move the civilization forward. Let's go. Put it back. Do your search. Come back to me with something nice. All right. There you go. All right. Governance and safety. Structured content with explicit answer keys and judges. Supports transparent benchmarking, auditing, and continual improvement, making our systems more dependable. Equity and access. Open LLM ready curricula and auto-graded practice. Bring high-quality learning to underserved regions, languages, and disciplines, expanding the global talent pool. Standardization and interoperability. A common schema for educational content device I/O creates reusable modules, textbooks as curricula, problem sets as environments. Textbooks as curricula, problem sets as environments, instruments as API. This compounds innovation, access to tools, and institutions. Bridging digital physical action. Making sensors and actuators LLM legible lets models perceive and act reliably, reading instruments, controlling devices, validating outcomes. Key for labs, clinics, manufacturing, and robotics. Faster research throughput. LLMs can take the course, master domain formalism, and then assist with literature synthesis, hypothesis generation, and experiment planning. As more domains become LLM legible, papers, datasets, lab protocols, AI collaborators reduce time from idea to result. Better reasoning and evaluation. Grounded answer. Okay, we did that. All the data above could be nicely indexed and embedded into RAG database for later reference, maybe MCP servers that make it available. Then just as a human student could take a high school physics course, an LLM could take it in the exact same way. This would be a significantly richer source of legible, workable information than for an LLM than just something like PDF to text, current prevailing practice, which simply asks the LLM to predict the textbook content top to bottom, token by token. Lame. As just a quick and crappy example, synthetic variations of the above example, GPT-5 gave me this problem generator, which can generalize that problem template into many variations. When the time is 11:07, what is the degree measure of the angle between the hands? Determine the angle in degrees between clocks hands at 4:14 a.m. What is the angle? I like how it says AM and PM. I don't think it matters, right? What is the angle between R and minute hands at 8:37 p.m.? 8:37. Okay, let's guess it's 8:37. So 8, 6, 7, 8. 8 is here. And 37 is 30. 30. 30. And 5. And here. So it should be less than 15. No, 36. Wait. So, okay, we are close. Like, we are close. Like, it's right over here. But, okay. 9 is here. 6 is here. Okay. 8 is here. And this is here. So it's 36. This is 90 degrees. Okay, it makes sense. 36, not 15. Yeah, it's half. It's pretty much half. No, less than half. Less than half. Yes. Less than half. Yeah, the distance between every single one is 30 degrees. So between 8 and 9 is 30. 30, 30, 30. Yes. Between 8 and 9 is 30. Between 7 and 8 it's 30. And between 6 and 7 is 30. Got it? 6, 7, 30. 7, 8, 30. 8, 9, 30. Yes. And now we are at 8. So now we have 60 degrees. And yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. We got it. We got it. But I still don't understand what is happening over here. But anyways, not relevant right now. Paul Graham, 2 hours. Sharp commentary on rocket development institutional incentives useful for reaching tech narratives and separating politics from engineering realities. Don't conflate political posturing with engineering competence. What is happening? 2 important principles that have a lot in common. If you make users love you, investors will love you too. If the people lead, the leaders will follow. If the people lead, the leaders will follow. I don't know if it's talking about the same thing. People who are good at programming will use AI to take the jobs of those who are mediocre at it. So you should study CS if you are going to be good at it. I should be more precise about what I mean by good at programming. I mean good in the sense of productive rather than merely proficient. So someone who's driven to build things has less to fear from AI than someone who's competent but indifferent. Obviously, the best case is someone who's both driven to build things and technically proficient. But those are far from orthogonal because building things is the usual way to become proficient. I think he's talking about this one, yeah. So Perplexity again messed up. Okay. SpaceX's Trouble Starship prototype pulls off successful flight after months of explosive mishaps. Are they really this clueless about how rocket development works, or do they hate SpaceX because of Elon? As so often happens, it's hard to distinguish incompetence from politics. Right. So Perplexity messed up. You linked the wrong post. Alright. Andrew NG identifies parallel multi-agent orchestration as an emerging path to scaling test time, compute, and capability directionally important for product and research. Okay. Why it's high signal? Parallel agents are becoming a core technique to scale AI inference, not just VR training. So what I understand by parallel agents is what Grok Heavy is supposed to do. So Elon mentioned that what Grok Heavy is basically doing is that when you ask a very difficult question, what you have is five separate agents going into their own rabbit hole and trying to solve the problem. And at the end, when each of them have solved the problem, they come together in like a study session and they start comparing notes and figure out that, okay, who has the right answer over here, and also learn from each other. So there are like two steps to this where there are five agents all going deep into figuring out the problem. Maybe each one of them, I think maybe they should also make sure that they are not repeating the same method or repeating this. They all, if it's a very difficult problem, it definitely needs to be that problem needs to be attacked from different approaches. And maybe what they're also making sure that none of the agents repeats the same approach as done by another one. So all they want to make sure that all five agents are using distinct approaches. And then when they are done with it, they all come together in a study session and then start comparing their notes and be like, okay, who probably got it right? And if two people had different approaches but got to the same answer, compare notes and figure out that, okay, what approach is better, somehow try to fix it. But okay, that is something we can look into. Oh, I closed that. Okay. How does Grok Heavy work? So this is what I understood, but let's look into this. Multi-agent AI system that operates by spinning up multiple versions of the core Grok model to tackle complex problems as a coordinated team rather than a single chatbot. Got it. Multi-agent architecture, meaning that for difficult queries, it dynamically launches several Grok agent models in parallel. These agents analyze the query from different perspectives like members of a specialized expert team, collaborating and debating until a robust solution is reached. Got it. A lightweight orchestration layer coordinates how agents exchange information and combine their responses. Very interesting. Whoa. Powerhouse leveraging the parallel processing up to 32 agents per request to achieve impressive performance benchmarks. Beefed up version of Grok for excels in complex reasoning tasks, demonstrated by 58% solve rate on humanities last exam, significant leap. Cost of $4.60 per million tokens. Unique architectural design and runtime characteristics that differentiate from standard counterpart. Up to 32 parallel agents. Context window 256K. Spawn 8 agents. Agent 3 get. Agent 5 run 10K sims. Draft Slack block, merge and rank outputs, final answer. Very interesting. For simple questions, just one agent is activated. For intricate tasks like strategic planning or advanced research, orchestrator spins up 8 to 32 agents, each specializing in part of the problem. It's also interesting, like what if you can control it? If someone is actually buying Grok Heavy, this means they are a power user. This means they really care about the solution. This means they would have enough knowledge to understand how this works and understand that and would love to, play with the optimizations, play with the criterias that, okay, no, don't do 8 agents, use 32 agents. I want to see what's the difference in this answer because maybe I want to just look at it. It's each, and again, like if this is something that is really important for their work, if they are like trying to figure out, okay, how this new fusion reactor works and the response and the answer is going to help them raise like whatever millions of dollars for deploying a modular fusion reactor or something like that, then they really care about it. Then they will be like, and hey, yeah, how long does this take? Like a Grok agent would, like one of the Grok Heavy responses would take like 20 minutes to respond. Let's see. How long does an average grok heavy prompt takes to respond? Let's see. Response time. 10 to 20 seconds? No, wait. To generate a response, especially for complex reasoning tasks that benefit from its multi-agent architecture. Okay. What are we talking about? 10 to 20 seconds? Response time? Bro, what are you saying? The ultimate AI showdown. Rate limits. 20 prompts per hour on Grok Heavy, reflecting the intensive resources required for each in-depth response. Bro, what is happening? Why does it say 10 to 20 seconds? What is this? This is wrong. How can we 10 to 20 seconds? Okay, let's not look at it. Let's go over here. Parallel agents are emerging as an... I just want to ask that same question to Grok itself. How long does Grok Heavy take to respond? (67 milliseconds). More advanced version with multiple agents working independently might take slightly longer due to complex processing, but no precise figures are given. 1 to 20 minutes. Okay. Grok typically responds in 30 minutes, but for longer or more complex tasks, it might take up to 1 to 20 minutes, especially if it's processing large amounts of data or hitting usage limits. Factors like server load, query complexity, and whether you're using features like deep search or think mode could also affect response time. Subscription tier. Enhanced capabilities. Réfléchis plus intensement. Réfléchis. Parallel agents are emerging as an important new direction for scaling up AI. AI capabilities have scaled with more training data. Training time, compute, and test time compute. Having multiple agents run in parallel is growing as a technique to further scale and improve performance. We know from work at Baidu by my former team and later OpenAI that AI models' performance scales predictably with the amount of data in the training computation. Performance rises further with test time compute, such as in agentic workflows and reasoning models that think, reflect, and iterate on an answer. But these methods take longer to produce output. Agents working in parallel offer another path to improve results without making users wait. Reasoning models generate tokens sequentially and can take a long time to run. Similarly, most agentic workflows are initially implemented in a sequential way. But as LLM prices per token continue to fall, thus making these techniques practical, and product teams want to deliver results to users faster, more and more agentic workflows are being parallelized. This just reminded me of something that I thought about today. Some examples: many research agents now fetch multiple web pages and examine the text in parallel to try to synthesize deeply thoughtful research reports more quickly. Some agentic coding frameworks allow users to orchestrate many agents working simultaneously on different parts of a code base. Our short course on Claude Core shows how to do this using Git work trees. A rapidly growing design pattern for agentic workflows is to have a compute-heavy agent work for minutes or longer to accomplish a task, while another agent monitors the first and gives brief updates to the user to keep them informed. Short hop to parallel agents that work in the background while UI agent keeps users informed and perhaps also routes asynchronous user feedback to the other agents. It is difficult for a human manager to take a complex task and break it down into smaller tasks for human engineers to work on in parallel. Scaling to huge numbers of engineers is especially challenging. Challenging to decompose tasks for parallel agents to carry out, but the falling cost of LLM inference makes it worthwhile to use a lot more tokens, and using them in parallel allows this to be done without significantly increasing the user's waiting time. Wow, wow, wow. It's like having, just like how we said boldness attracts, timidness repels. It's having a bunch of bold engineers who are just gonna go straight, who are gonna go straight for the kill, and they are going to work really hard. And then there is this one guy who is constantly making sure that he knows what everybody's doing and keeps feeding you updates. By the way, new update, we got the new Whoop. Whoop. It's pretty cool. And I got my age right now is 27.1. My Whoop age is 27.1, which is bad. We gotta fix this. All right. But the falling cost of LLM inference makes it worthwhile to use a lot more tokens, and using them in parallels allows this to be done without significantly increasing the user's waiting time. I'm also encouraged by the growing body of research on parallel agents. For example, I enjoyed reading Code Monkey, Scaling Test Time Compute for Software Engineering by Ryan Ehrlich and others, which shows how parallel code generation helps you to explore the solution space. The mixture of agents architecture by Junlin Wang is a surprisingly simple way to organize parallel agents. Have multiple LLMs come up with different answers and have an aggregator LLM combine them into the final output. There remains a lot of research as well as engineering to explore how best to leverage parallel agents, and I believe the number of agents that can work productively in parallel, like the humans who can work productively in parallel, will be very high. Productively will be very high. Okay, really cool. Heavy mode. Thought for 10 minutes. Estimates 10 minutes or remaining for agent coordination. Really cool. Now we're getting some good data. Okay. Yeah, Perplexity, I don't know, looked at some stupid blog. It's described as running much slower than non-heavy variants, potentially 10x more resource intensive. 18 to 20 minutes for detailed responses, especially during high load periods or complex tasks. Voice mode 2.0. Grok 3 mini fast offers significantly faster responses. Think modes in earlier versions similarly takes minutes. Auto, rapid, expert. Oh, so rapid is using Grok 3. We're gonna keep it to auto. Okay, we'll keep it auto. Okay, here is Grok. Get intelligent answers from Grok, featuring frontier capabilities in conversations, coding, reasoning, and voice. Grok Web, a trusted assistant for deep work. Grok can create rich documents, write code, and has the most real-time search capabilities of any model. Real-time search, what's new with Grok? Understand documents, supercharge your code. Super Grok, deep dive with Grok Heavy. Oh, this is right here. Thought for 10 minutes. Ran for 10 minutes. Agent 1, Agent 2, Agent 3. The most powerful version of Grok. Find meaning with Grok Think. What is the meaning of life? Whoa. Wait, what just happened? Thinking for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. There's Grok Voice, Storyteller. Transform text into visual realities. A volcano surrounded by ice. Wow. Cybertruck. Make it happen yesterday. Really cool. Available anywhere. Let's play Pong, Tetris, Snake. Oh, is this their gaming studio? Okay, player controls WNS. Alright, got it. Alright, we need at least 1 point. But this is hard. Yeah, get it. Oh no, it's good. Build back rock. No, I lost. Okay. Well, that is cool. That is cool. They added a game at the bottom. Okay, really cool. Chris Dixon, via Anish Acharya. So A16Z boys. Clear articulation of why software uniquely scales. Moore's law, composability, network effects, great mental model for evaluating growth potential. Prioritize products that harness composability, network effects. They are software. I just want to see if so. One idea that I had, I don't think it's actually working, but the idea that I have is that because we are doing the stream, we are looking into what is relevant and what are things that we find interesting, and then we record a live stream, and then YouTube auto captions that live stream, and then we ask Perplexity to like do a total analysis of the entire live stream using the transcription. I believe that Perplexity is getting a lot of information about what are the things that I am leaning towards and what are the things that I'm interested in, what are the things that I find interesting. And based on that, every time we ask this question of X20, the relevance factor is getting tuned to more and more about the things that I'm interested in. This is my hypothesis, but I don't know if this is actually working. Each includes a concise statement direct link. So right now it's doing pretty good. A16Z, Andrew, but we don't know. Okay, what do we have?
Is to me a foundational question in tech is why why in tech do you have these companies come out of nowhere and end up being very impactful, having hundreds of millions of billions of users, being very valuable in a way that you typically don't see that in other industries, right? Like what's fundamentally different about tech? And I think the answer is that in tech you have some very strong kind of exponential superlinear forces. So the most famous example of that is Moore's law. Right? So Moore's law is the idea that sort of every roughly 2 years or 18 months the performance of semiconductors doubles. It's a rough approximation, but it's basically been true. It's compounding improvement in processor performance. I think there's also kind of a broader Moore's law, which is storage, networking, like all the kind of computing research has gotten much better, which is why you have things like mobile phones, right? So you go back and look pre-iPhone, mobile phones were pretty junky and limited in capability and didn't have touch screens and had poor performance. And what Steve Jobs and Apple's great insight was part of their brilliance is they saw this curve, right? They saw this exponential curve and they wrote that curve. And that, so that Moore's law is a very important exponential curve. But the other kind of, I'd say there's two other really important exponential curves in software. One is what I call composability. Composability is really, I think, what's accounted for the rise of open source software. Why did Linux go from a hobby project in the 90s to dominant operating system in the world today? The answer a lot is composability. Composability means the software is open source, anyone can contribute to it, and you can very importantly sort of harness the collective intelligence of the internet, as opposed to locking up, only
harness the collective intelligence of the internet.
Relying on your employees, right? And really importantly, with open source, software becomes like Lego bricks, where anyone can take a piece and reuse it, and so you get this kind of compounding exponential improvement growth. And then the third really important exponential force in tech is network effects, as we were talking about, which is why networks are so important, right? So they start off often quite limited. Facebook was just at Harvard, and it was essentially a real-time, kind of yearbook or whatever for students at one school, and of course, then kind of hopped by the late ads to other schools and high schools, and eventually the kind of global domination we have today. And so you saw, Mark Zuckerberg and the team saw this power of network effects and kind of wrote those network effects.
Drops next week. Harness the collective intelligence.
To me, a foundational question in tech is
software can scale from nothing to hundreds of millions of users in a way no other industry can because of exponential forces. Moore's law, composability, network effects. Anything built on top of a platform that keeps getting exponentially cheaper and faster has a built-in tailwind. It began with chips doubling in power every couple of years and extended to storage and bandwidth that includes foundation models. When the base layer improves this quickly, whole categories of products suddenly become possible. And the companies that build for the future rather than the present capture the upside. There's also very interesting companies that build for the future. To build for the future, your present has to look like future. And this is very interesting stuff that I was talking to my buddy. Like, if you live in SF today, you're already using Waymo. Using Waymo has become normal for you. Whereas if you live in a developing country right now, you have issues happening that forces that doesn't even let your brain think about the future. If you are living in San Francisco right now, Waymo has become normal. And now your brain has gone into the second order effects of what is happening now that Waymo has become normal. How is that changing the habits of everything? If more and more people are taking Waymo, this means more and more people are now, let's say, taking their proper meetings from the car. because they don't have to worry that, oh, the driver is listening to their conversations and they could be talking about something very serious, something really confidential. If they're now taking meetings from the car, if they can now take meetings from the car and it's very relaxed and it's very good quality cars, they know that Waymo cars are really good quality, so they can actually do proper meetings in there. They might be doing like proper like quarterly meet, like they could be doing like proper one-on-ones over there, and they could be like, hey, take us to this beautiful spot, and this entire ride is gonna be beautiful. So that is gonna like, we are gonna use that time to like spark ideas and stuff. So that is gonna be very interesting. So it's very interesting. What are the second order effects when self-driving cars? Okay, this is actually beautiful. What are the second order effects when self-driving cars become normal, become an everyday habit? Think about what new habits humans will adopt. How will businesses change? Very interesting question. But basically, this is something I was talking to my buddy, that they are already living in the future, and because Waymo has become normal for them, now they can even project further, they can even extrapolate further, that okay, what are the newer things. So that is very interesting. That is very interesting. When the base layer improves as quickly, whole categories of products suddenly become possible in the companies that build for the future rather than for the present, capture the upside. The first iPhone was, so yeah, just living in a city where future already exists changes the behavior of people, because now people are brainstorming, okay, what's next, and they are already building for the future. Building for future becomes easier when you're already living in the future. Whole categories of products suddenly become possible in the companies that build for the future rather than the present, capture the upside. The first iPhone was basic and limited, but Apple could see where the platform curve was going and designed for it. Composability, software compounds because it can be reused. Open source makes this especially powerful. Once code is written, anyone can pick it up, improve it, and combine it with other pieces like Lego blocks. Each library, API, or framework becomes shared infrastructure that lowers the cost and speeds up the next project. That's why Linux, which began as a small side project, became the world's default operating system. Why today's apps are built on stacks of shared reusable components. Network becomes more valuable as they add more people. Facebook started as a small digital network at Harvard, spread school by school until suddenly, oh wow, we have window washing going on over here. Yes, our windows are getting washed, cleaned. It's kind of scary when people can look into your, like clearly just look into your home. Then it's spread out, then it's spread school by school. Once a product clears the hurdle of initial adoption, growth feeds on itself in a way that compounds quickly, often overwhelming slower competitors. That is why tech doesn't look like other industries. The second order effects of self-driving cars becoming an everyday habit include new patterns in human behavior and significant adaptations for businesses, well beyond simply automating driving tasks. New human habits. People will develop new routines during commutes, using travel time for work, exactly, entertainment or relaxation. Interiors designed for these activities, shared mobility habits are likely to grow with more people using ride sharing or autonomous shuttles. Instead of owning cars, shifting transportation from a private asset to an on demand service. Parking, all these massive parking spaces are going to go out. They're just bad. To an on demand service, the need to worry about driving or parking will diminish, encouraging multitasking such as video calls, gaming, or online shopping en route. New personal productivity habits and social interactions may emerge during transit. New personal productivity habits and social interactions. Right. This is the point where you will suddenly start meeting people and you are like, hey, let's go on a ride. And we will like go through this. I think this is also really cool. You could be like, more of these routes will pop up. Just like we have hiking, that okay, you walk through the nature. Similarly, you have like a ride through the nature, ride through this beautiful scenery. That will pop up. Business adaptations. And I think it will just become like a what do we call them? It will just become roller coaster, like just like Disneyland or something, where you're sitting in this one thing and you're following a track and like things are happening outside in the real world. I think something like that might happen, where you are sitting in a car, autonomous Waymo with a bunch of other people, and your car is going on this route, and you can actually see things happening, and they're actually interactive. That would be really cool. Business adaptations. Auto manufacturers will shift emphasis to software development, AI, and data management rather than just hardware. Logistics and delivery services will optimize around 24/7 autonomous fleets, prompting new business models like fractional vehicle ownership and dynamic asset utilization. Retailers and urban planners will repurpose land previously used for parking. This is the big one. Previously used for parking just to make more greenery, less parking lots. Which for parking, opening opportunities for new types of real estate development and urban commerce. The service sector will grow around in-vehicle experiences with entertainment, wellness, and connectivity services rising in demand. Increased demand for data infrastructure and cybersecurity professionals will be driven by the huge amounts of data generated by autonomous vehicles. Increased demand for data infrastructure and cybersecurity professionals. Disruption and new opportunities. Traditional roles like drivers and parking attendants will shrink while new job opportunities in the fleet management, robotics, AI maintenance, and in-car services rise. Insurance models and repair businesses will shift focus from individual risk and mechanical service to fleet coverage and software troubleshooting. Mobility providers may emerge to manage shared autonomous fleets, requiring new platforms and business processes. Autonomous vehicles will reduce the need for parking, freeing urban space for recreation, housing, or business. Changes in commuting and urban planning will reshape the city experience, fostering mixed use developments and walkable environments. Social attitudes towards car ownership will evolve, emphasizing convenience and flexibility over status and possession. Wow. What will happen to Mercedes and Range Rovers? Olivia Moore. Concrete signal that Google AI mode is going agentic across commerce-like verticals. Reservations today, tickets, services next. Oh, that is very interesting. That is very interesting. This is so interesting because if someone can do it, it's Google. If someone can do it, it's Google. Google AI mode is becoming agentic. You can now search for restaurant reservations and get validated availability from OpenTable, Doc, Resi. This will roll out for ticket purchase and local service appointments soon. Happy Robot Kriya. Tom Auto Partyful. Oh, what is happening? Scribe noting. Salient. Find me a restaurant in SF9 for 3 people at 7 p.m. Good for vegetarians. I've tested this extensively and I'm pretty impressed by the reliability and speed of results. Google's blog post mentioned it uses RPA but also direct partner integration, so I'm guessing API as it's very fast. Only available for Ultra subscribers right now. Search just became action. Google. Bro, why did you go there? Google. Wait, what is happening? Yeah, just go to Google. Alright, AI mode. Let's go. Three local events happening this week. Make a table comparing memory foam versus hybrid mattresses. How do I get people? How can I start playing padel? Padel. Find me a restaurant in Vancouver for 2 people tonight at 7 p.m. Kicking off 4 searches, looking at sites. That interface is pretty cool. Looks like F1 to me. Yeah, I think Google, yeah, they know some stuff. They know some stuff, how to do some stuff, yeah. Published on Main Cuisine Contemporary Canadian. Mount Pleasant, rank number 9. Whoa, rank number 9. In Canada. Best restaurants. Oh, I think I've seen this. Rank number 9. Wow. Anna Lena, St. Lawrence Nightingale. I love Nightingale. Eliza. Abattoir. Joey Bourard, Homer Street. Let's go. Here it is. Anna Lena, published on Main. L'Abattoir, Saint Laurent. Nightingale, Italian Kitchen. Eliza. Really cool. Google is cooking. The biggest problem now is people know them at the verb for search, not AI chat. Google it. Google it will soon mean take an action, not just search. Craft a tweet. Google it is evolving from search it to just do it. Google it is evolving. M dash. From search it to just do it. Hey, that's a good one. It's a really good one. Farcaster, we'll post on Farcaster too, because we feel like Farcaster is not giving us too much love, but actually Farcaster should be giving us much more love right now. Let's see. Yeah, we don't even have view count, so we don't know what's happening. At least, so on Twitter, we don't get likes, but at least we know that what's a hit. Like, this was a hit. 195 views. This was a hit. If attention is all you need, then Instagram, Reels, and TikTok aren't just making creators, they're manufacturing investable attention. With unrivaled data from impressions to downloads and cheap capital everywhere, why wouldn't these platforms become the next generation of venture capitalists? The attention economy is the deal flow. Hey, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Sometimes you do things because you find them cool. You don't have to worry about whether other people find them cool or not. Greg Brockman, White's article, OpenAI's spotlight for startups implies White's high signal, OpenAI spotlight for startups. OpenAI spotlight for startups. OpenAI Spotlight for Startups implies acceleration in tooling programs and distribution channels relevant to founders building with AI. If you are a startup building on AI, OpenAI is centralizing resources worth monitoring, leveraging. Very interesting. It's actually really cool. We launch a new home for startups. Building is how we propel humanity forward. Come build with us. Building is how we propel humanity forward. Manus. Oh, Manus. They're working with Manus. Okay. Okay. OpenAI for startups. Oh my god. Hey. Hey, Perplexity. That's a link. AI for ambitious builders. Gamma, Warp, Legora, Code Rabbit, Plagian, Augment Code. You dream big will help you deliver. Cookbooks, guides, build ours. You dream big. Here for you at each stage of your startup journey, we are founders, investors, and operators, and have designed this program to be one we wish we would have. We had. We wish we had. Oh, that is. I know this spot. It's a beautiful spot in SF. IRL and URL hangouts. Connect with other builders in person and online. Register for upcoming events like meetups, webinars, and AMAs. Dev Day. Learn from founders bringing bold ideas to life. Outtake basis Blue Jay. You've got questions, we've got answers. I'm interested in building a startup. Where should I start? Build our core repos. These sources give you a head start building with OpenAI models and practical tips from founders. You can also sign up for the Startup Drop newsletter. Congrats on the funding. That's a big milestone. Some VCs like Thrive Capital, Sequoia, A16Z, Kleiner, Perkins are part of a partner network. Portfolio companies of these firms get access to additional resources. If you're not sure whether your VC is a partner, just ask them. They will know if they are in a network and how to access OpenAI resources. OpenAI loves startups. Come build with us. Business email, company name, company website. What describes your organization ID? Organization ID is provided by OpenAI. Okay, got it. Interesting. Claude. Deep OS level integration. Login to Claude from Xcode with CodeGen. Okay. New Xcode 26 Beta 7 users can now log into their Claude account from Xcode, generate code and documentation automatically, fix errors, and create inline playgrounds using code intelligence. I have an idea. My idea is that I should make this into a product. A lot of my friends are having this problem where they are new to Twitter, and they don't, and because they're new to Twitter, and Twitter algorithm is just built right now for what do we say? Twitter algorithm right now is just built for Twitter algorithm right now is just built for sucking you in. So two things happen. Either you are just exposed to this cheap dopamine, and similar to TikTok, you go through 2 hours of content, 2 hours of post without even realizing, and now actually feeling bad about your entire search, or you find something so weird that you are like, I'm out. And that is exactly what happened to this one buddy who I met yesterday. So I'm like, okay, we should make this into a product that give me just like top 20 Twitter posts that are most relevant to moving the civilization forward. High signal posts that will move the civilization forward. That's it. These are all the tweets that you should be looking at, and don't rely on your monkey mind that is going to go deep down into the rabbit holes of cheap dopamine. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Build me a product every day. Give me top 20 high signal posts on X feed. Oh, not C feed. X feed. Reviewing memories. Strategic approach based on both your preferences and the latest insights on X's algorithm and available tools. High engagement, recency, relevance, account credibility, content type and theme, media inclusions, keywords, hashtags, how to build and automate your product, data ingestion. Use the X API to pull posts from your home and following feeds daily. Signal analysis engine, score each post based on engagement, incorporate recency, relevance, detected themes using NLP, curation, presentation, rank all posts by weighted signal score, tag categorized theme for each post, prepare a top 20 high signal feed. Send this feed daily via your preferred channel, web, mobile app, or email. Recommended. Oh, so interesting. So interesting. So interesting. So interesting. What if I just start asking X20 every single day and just start sending this as a newsletter? By the way, the beard is looking good right now. Beard is getting so good. So good. I missed my old beard. I don't think I really liked my no beard look. That was bad. That was bad. But we are recovering. Okay. Build a product. One good thing that came out of that entire beard thing is I just realized how underdeveloped my jawline is. And I just started eating more gum to develop my jawline. So here goes the gum. Let me check. Do I have my buddy on here? No. Bandwidth, robust analytics, engagement breakdowns, and AI-powered top post extraction. RSS style curation with AI-powered relevance scoring. Okay, interesting. I think this entire working with X API would be really bad. So let's see. I think there's the better approach is right now. Just take this feed and go shared, like right here. Anyone with a link, copy link, share link. This would be perfect. And the interesting thing is that there's no barriers. X cannot mess that up. X cannot. I hope X doesn't stop people from scraping from agents scraping X post. Claude, okay. Anish K, Stripe bot format with Kevin Kwok. Authenticity mechanics, beer as format constraint, can unlock higher signal conversations applicable to content strategy. Structured formats to force real talk and differentiated signal constraints drive authenticity. I'm right now working with my friend, you want to change our Wi-Fi password, you want to change your Wi-Fi name. Right now it's very basic hacker house where you want to make it to make something people want or time to build. Product format, insight, authenticity, mechanics, purest format constraint can unlock higher signal conversations applicable to content strategy. Structured formats to force real talk and differentiate signal constraints drive authenticity. Kevin Kwok. Okay, we'll search Kevin Kwok. Right here. Brother, May I have some loops? Tapping a tuning fork and seeing who resonates. Tapping a tuning fork and seeing what's your mental representation of Twitter. Tapping a tuning fork and seeing who resonates. Great scientists, when an opportunity opens up, get after it and they pursue it. They drop all other things. They get rid of other things and they get after an idea because they had already thought the thing through. Their minds are prepared. They see the opportunity and they go after it. Now, of course, lots of time it doesn't work out, but you don't have to hit many of them to do some great science. It's so interesting. This is exactly how a scientist works. You just, all your work is, you have kind of picked up a umbrella term that, let's say, nanoelectronics. Now there are so many things you could be working on. All your research papers, there are so many things you could be working on. Now your entire thing is that keep doing something, keep throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks, because basically what you want to find is you just want to find a problem that matters, a problem that is really important, that is going to move the civilization forward. And if you, so two things: number one, a very important problem, and number two, the ability to actually go solve that problem. Because you not only want a bigger market share, that problem should have a big market share, like impact a big market, but also then the ability to solve it so you actually win. It is very interesting. It is very interesting how scientists operate, how these PhDs operate. The topics you pick for your research, that is so important. You got to be playing with stuff all the time because you want to make sure that you are working on something that is highly relevant. A wrong problem means that you have basically spent 5 years of your life working on something totally irrelevant. That is crazy. That is crazy. That is so much pressure, to end up doing something that is irrelevant. The great scientists, when an opportunity opens up, get after it and they pursue it. They drop all of the things. They get rid of other things and they get after an idea because they had already thought the thing through. Their minds are prepared. They see the opportunity and they go after it. Now, of course, lots of times it doesn't work out, but you don't have to hit many of them to do some great science. It's kind of easy. One of the chief tricks is to live a long time. One of the chief tricks is to live a long time. Another trait it took me a while to notice. I noticed the following facts about people who work with the door open or the door closed. I noticed that if you have the door to your office closed, you get more work done today and tomorrow and you are more productive than most. But 10 years later, somehow you don't quite know what problems are worth working on. All the hard work you do is sort of tangential in importance. He who works with the door open gets all kinds of interruptions, but he also occasionally gets clues as to what the world is and what might be important. Now, I cannot prove the cause and effect sequence because you might say the closed door is symbolic of a closed mind. I don't know, but I can say there's a pretty good correlation between those who work with the doors open and those who ultimately do important things. Although people who work with doors closed often work harder. Somehow they seem to work on slightly the wrong thing. Not much, but enough that they miss fame. Wow, bro, this is so crazy. This is kind of the mindset that I am trying to adopt right now, which is that you have to have this cycle of you go deep into your work, you have this flow state, you have this creative time where you're spending 2 to 3 hours into your thing, but then you also go out in the world. You also go out in the world and understand what the world is like, and you try to understand the world. Yes, you have kind of built your own framework of what the world is, and now you're just mapping. Either it's just confirmation bias of the world, or you're just mapping. It might be just confirmation bias, but you also want to look for the world to change your perspective and make you interested into different things that you might have never thought of. It's really important to spend time in the world. And see, like, what do people like? What things resonate with people? Because if a person who's working with closed door is just working on something that without any contact with reality, you don't even know you are creating a manufactured reality, and you are now spending all your time on this manufactured reality. This is so good. I want to read this again. I don't know where. I'm so lucky that we just found this thing. Okay. The great scientists, when an opportunity opens up, get after it and they pursue it. They drop all other things, they get rid of other things, and they get after an idea because they had already thought the thing through. Their minds are prepared. They see the opportunity and they go after it. Now, of course, lots of times it doesn't work out, but you don't have to hit many of them to do some great science. It's kind of easy. One of the chief tricks is to live a long time, right? So you just live longer and you keep doing your thing. You will land on something good. Another trait it took me a while to notice. I noticed the following facts about people who work with the door open or the door closed. I noticed that if you have the door to your office closed, you get more work done today and tomorrow, and you are more productive than most. But 10 years later, somehow you don't quite know what problems are worth working on. What problems are worth working on? Exactly. You don't have contact with reality. You don't know what people really want, what the problems people have. All the hard work you do is sort of tangential and important. See who works with the door open gets all kinds of interruptions, but he also occasionally gets clues as to what the world is and what might be important. Now, I cannot prove the cause and effect sequence because you might say that closed door is symbolic of a closed mind. I don't know. But I can say there is a pretty good correlation between those who work with it. My Wi-Fi stopped working. Okay, my buddy just asked me for an invite. Generate an invite. Copy invitation. Okay, perfect. If you need an invite to Comet, just let me know. All right. This was amazing. Another gem. Let me start not logically but psychologically. I find that the major objection is that people think great science is done by luck. It's all a matter of luck. Well, consider Einstein. Note how many different things he did that were good. Was it all luck? Wasn't it a little too repetitive? Consider Shannon. He didn't do just information theory. Several years before, he did some other good things and some which are still locked up in the security of cryptography. He did many good things. You see again and again that it is more than one thing from a good person. Once in a while, a person who does only one thing in his whole life, I will talk about that later, but a lot of times there is repetition. I claim that luck will not cover everything, and I will cite Pasteur, who said, luck favors the prepared mind. Luck favors the prepared mind, and I think that says it the way I believe it. Luck favors a prepared mind. There is indeed an element of luck, and no, there isn't. The prepared mind sooner or later finds something important and does it. So yes, it is luck. The particular thing you do is luck, but that you do something is not. The particular thing you do is luck, but that you do something is not. For example, when I came to Bell Labs, I shared an office for a while with Shame. You have some, but not total control over it. And I will quote finally Newton on the matter. You have some, but not total control over it. And I will quote finally Newton on the matter. Newton said, if others would think as hard as I did, then they would get similar results. Newton. Very interesting. I think this is very similar to what Rick Rubin says, right? Rick Rubin, Steven Pressfield, all that stuff, which is like, there are ideas. There are ideas. It's time for that idea. And that idea is just looking for a way, a human to get into the physical reality. And for you to be able to tap into that idea, you have to be in that state. So you can actually tap on that idea. So what you have to do is you have to make sure that you show up every day and you get into the flow state, the creative state. You have to show up every day and you have to make sure you are in that state, because if the time for that idea has come, then the idea is just looking for a medium to get into the physical reality. And if you are present right there and then that idea will choose you will choose you to get into the reality. So interesting. So interesting. So it's like the preparation you do is stacking skills up. You're constantly stacking skills up. You're constantly making 1% improvements, and all of this stuff is like stacking on top of each other. And then when the time of that idea has come, the idea chooses you are in the right state. The idea chooses you to flow into the physical reality. So interesting. So interesting. Another gem, another gem, another gem. Age is another factor which the physicists particularly worry about. They always are saying that you have got to do it when you are young or you will never do it. Einstein did things very early. And all the quantum mechanic fellows were disgustingly young when they did their best work. Most mathematicians, theoretical physicists, and astrophysicists who do what we consider their best work when they are young. It is not that they don't do good work in their old age, but what we value most is often what they did early. On the other hand, in music, politics, and literature, often what we consider their best work was done late. In music, politics, and literature. So in science, it was young. In art, it was later. Music, politics, literature. Often what we consider the best work was done late. I don't know how whatever field you are in fits the scale, but age has some effect. But let me say why age seems to have the effect it does. In the first place, if you do some good work, you will find yourself on all kinds of committees and unable to do any more work. If you do some good work, I think this reminds me of Andre Karpathy. But let me say why age seems to have the effect it does. In the first place, if you do some good work, you will find yourself on all kinds of committees and unable to do any more work. You may find yourself, as I saw Brett Ten when he got a Nobel Prize. Okay, our Wi-Fi has been updated. If you do some good work, you'll find yourself on all kind of committees and unable to do any more work. You may find yourself, as I saw Britain when he got a Nobel Prize. The day the prize was announced, we all assembled in Arnold Auditorium. All three winners got up and made speeches. The third one, Britain, practically with tears in his eyes, said, "I know about this Nobel Prize effect, and I'm not going to let it affect me. I'm going to remain good old Walter Britain." Well, I said to myself, that is nice, but in a few weeks I saw it was affecting him. Now he could only work on great problems. When you're famous, it is hard to work on small problems. Now he could only work on great problems. When you are famous, it is hard to work on small problems. This is what did Shannon in. After information theory, what do you do for an encore? The great scientists often make this error. They fail to continue to plant the little acorns from which the mighty oak trees grow. They try to get the big thing right off. And that isn't the way things go. So that is another reason why you find that when you get early recognition, it seems to sterilize you. Very interesting. Very interesting. When you're famous, it is hard to work on small problems. This is what did Sharon in. After information theory, what do you do for an encore? The great scientists often make this error. They fail to continue to plant the little acorns from which the mighty oak trees grow. They try to get the big thing right off, and that isn't the way things go. So that is another reason why you find that when you get early recognition, it seems to sterilize you. In fact, I'll give you my favorite quotation of many years. The Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, in my opinion, has ruined more. The Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, in my opinion, has ruined more good scientists than any institution has created. Judged by what they did before they came and judged by what they did after. Not that they weren't good afterwards, but they were superb when they got there and were only good afterwards. Wow, really cool. Really cool. Really cool. Now he could only work on great problems. When you're famous, it is hard to work on small problems. This is very interesting. In my opinion, has won more good scientists than any institutions has created, and judged by what they did before they came and judged by what they did after. Not that they weren't good afterwards, but they were superb before they got there and were only good afterwards. This is so interesting. Thank you, Devon. Amazing. What problems are worth working on? Work with the doors open. But I forgot who's the enregistré. Yes. Brouillon. Brouillon. Oh no. Oh no. Wrong button. Wrong button. Okay, I think it still works. Still works. Work with the doors open. Anyways, alright. Wow, this is amazing. You and your research. Wow. 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 Imagine somebody read this. Transcription of the Bell Communication Research Colloquium Seminar. Why do so few scientists make truly significant contributions while many are forgotten? Hamming distills. Wow, amazing, 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 amazing. Work with the doors open. Wow, wow, wow. Why do so few scientists make truly significant contributions while many are forgotten? Hamming distills observations from decades at Los Alamos and Bell Labs into personal practical advice for doing first-class work. Luck versus preparation. Luck matters, but luck favors the prepared mind. Great contributions recur from the same people. It's not just chance. Cultivate a prepared mind and position yourself where lightning strikes. Courage and ambition. Great scientists have the courage to tackle hard, important problems, ask impossible questions, and persist under uncertainty. Shannon's coding theorem. Quietly commit to doing significant work. Work on important problems. Keep a live list, 10 to 20 of important problems in your field, and watch for new ideas that provide an attack. Importance comes from having a plausible line of attack, not just big consequences. Importance comes from having a plausible line of attack, not just big consequences. Drive compounds. Small, consistent, extra effort yields outsized results over a career. Knowledge and productivity behave like compound interest. But effort must be intelligently applied, not just harder. Effort must be intelligently applied, not just harder. Embrace ambiguity. Believe a theory enough to act. Doubt it enough to see flaws. Track anomalies. Oh no, what happened to my throat? Believe a theory enough to act, doubt it enough to see flaws, track anomalies deliberately, and let them guide breakthroughs. Track anomalies deliberately and let them guide breakthroughs. Deep commitment in the subconscious. Sustained focus lets your subconscious work the problem. Answers often surface after immersion. Protect attention to feed the right problem. Wow. Hey, I would have never read this transcription, but it's only because of Perplexity Comet. I literally just messaged one of my really good friends who I remember he would like appreciate that I'm introducing him to newer and newer tools. And I just messaged him that, hey, use Perplexity Comet, change your life. And this is exactly how it changes your life. The content that you would never read is just like those podcasts where you might not listen to the entire 2-hour podcast, but if in the first intro they give you all the top hits, you are like, okay, now that I know that this podcast has a lot of hits, a lot of really good quotes, which I love in the first 30-second intro, and I'm like, okay, now I'll look into it. And then you actually listen to it, and then it's like, this was amazing. This is exactly what's happening over here. Deep commitment in the subconscious. Sustained focus lets your subconscious work the problem. Answers often surface after immersion. Protect attention to feed the right problem. Environment and conditions. Ideal conditions aren't required. Constraints can become assets by reframing the problem. It's also very interesting how sometimes I meet some of my friends and we're having a very interesting conversation, and then they're like, oh, by the way, what do you do? I have no idea what you do. And they know me for like a couple of years now. And they're like, I have no idea what you do. I'm like, even I have no idea. We are letting the subconscious work over here. Letting the subconscious work the problem. Sustained focus lets your subconscious work the problem. Answers often surface after immersion. Protect attention to feed the right problem. Ideal conditions aren't required. Constraints can become assets by reframing the problem. Keep your door open to receive signals about what matters. Beware early fame narrowing you to only big problems. Keep planting acorns. Keep planting acorns. Generalize and reframe. Convert one-off solutions into general methods others can build on. Abstraction often simplifies and amplifies impact. Aim to be in the mass production of a variable product. Wow. He's saying like always abstract, and that just reminds me of Brian Johnson. What Brian Johnson is doing is basically abstraction. Convert one-off solutions into general methods others can build on. Abstraction often simplifies and amplifies impact. Aim to be in the mass production of a variable product. Communication is part of the job. You must sell your work. Write clearly. Give formal and informal talks. Frame context before details and avoid overstuffed presentations. If people don't read it, you won't get credit. You must sell your work. Write clearly. Give formal and informal talks. Frame context before details and avoid overstuffed presentations. If people don't read it, you won't get credit. Wow, Richard Hamming, you and your research. This is so interesting. This feels so relevant to the work that we are doing over here. And how did we find this? We found this because somebody was talking about beer as a format constraint. Kevin was talking about the Stripes beer podcast, which I was like is bad because that means, I don't know, one of the guys, Patrick or John Collison, whoever is the host, is like drinking beer pretty much every time, like twice or thrice in a week. Wow. Okay, Richard Hamming, thank you. Communication is part of your job. You must sell your work. Write clearly. Give formal and informal talks. Frame context before details. Avoid overstuffed presentations. So people don't read it, you won't get credit. Use the system. Don't fight it. Learn to work with organizational realities. Educate your boss. Leverage support staff. Avoid needless ego assertion that taxes your career. Appearance of conforming can reduce friction. Save your battles for what matters. I love my beard, by the way. This is looking so beautiful right now. Appearance of conforming can reduce friction. Save your battles for what matters. Personality pitfalls. Lack of commitment. Misdirected drive. Control needs. Lack of commitment. Misdirected drive. Control needs. Ego, anger, and fighting the system sap output. Choose whether you want to reform the system or do first-class science. Few can do both. Choose whether you want to reform the system or do first class science. You can do both. Practical habits. Reserve great thoughts time. Friday afternoons to think about big questions and strategic direction. Make commitments with deadlines to harness pride and deliver. Make commitments with deadlines to harness pride and deliver. Organize work so others can stand on your shoulders. Cumulative science magnifies impact. I think organizing work is so important. This is exactly the reason why I'm doing this entire total transcript analysis, because what we want is what we I've always been bad at organizing work because I'm like, no, just focus on work, just focus on work. And I think with AI, that is making my life really easy now, and that is exactly what I needed, because organizing work is taking away from the real work. It is really important. Organizing work is really important, but when I feel like I have a momentum going, I feel organizing work is taking off from that momentum, and I just want to feed into that momentum. It's so interesting. Like, I remember last year when I used to write super long journals because I had no idea what to do. I'd keep writing. And now, recently, when I started journaling all over again, and I would go to journal, I'm writing. I'm like, okay, I'll write about what I need to do, and then I'll start my morning with journaling. I'll write about what I want to do, and then I actually go do stuff. But now it feels like I just know what's the right thing to do. The right thing to do is just like keep building momentum, keep doing this thing. So when I go now, I don't have to write anything. All I write is that, hey, just have the courage. Have the courage. Be in the flow state. Keep feeding the momentum. That's it. So this is the state that we want to stay in. This is beautiful state. So great thoughts time. Friday afternoons to think about big questions, strategic direction, make commitments with deadlines to harness pride and deliver. Organize work so others can stand on your shoulders. Cumulative science magnifies impact. Yes, that's right. We want to magnify the impact. Is it worth it? Those who have done first class work tend to say it is profoundly rewarding. The value lies in the struggle as much as the result. The value lies in the struggle as much as the result. Is it worth it? Those who have done first class work tend to say it is profoundly rewarding. The value lies in the struggle as much as the result. Wow. This is amazing. Wow. Quietly commit to doing significant work. Tell me more about what he says about courage and ambition. It's also so interesting, like, yeah, everything that was done in the past, we have transcripts of that. And these are not like podcasts that you can listen to and you can have a good time and blah, blah, blah. But now you can interact with that document. You can interact with that transcript right over here. Here's what Hamming says about courage and ambition. Concrete examples, takeaways. Great scientists go forward under incredible circumstances. They dare to ask impossible questions and keep thinking until they find a path. Hamming's prime example is Shannon. Stuck on coding, he asked, what would the average random code do? Then prove the average code is arbitrarily good, an audacious move requiring infinite courage. Then prove the average code is arbitrarily good, an audacious move requiring infinite courage. Early independent thinking often signals later breakthroughs. Einstein as a teenager asked what a light wave would look like if he traveled at light speed, spotting a contradiction that later fed special relativity. Courage to trust one's own questions matters. Early independent thinking often signals later breakthroughs. Early independent thinking often signals later breakthroughs. Einstein as a teenager asked what a light wave would look like if he traveled at light speed, spotting a contradiction that later fed special relativity. Courage to trust one's own questions matters. Ambition must be explicit, at least to yourself. Hamming urges you to quietly set the intention to do first class work. Society may frown on overt ambition. Overt is a French word, ouvert, open ambition. But you should say to yourself, yes, I would like to do something significant, and then organize your life around that aim. This is crazy. Who is Richard Hamming? Commitment fuels the subconscious. First class work requires deep emotional commitment. When you hold an important problem at the center of your attention, your subconscious keeps working. Answers often surface after immersion. Without commitment, the subconscious goofs off. Have the courage to work on important problems. Keep 10 to 20 important problems in mind. When a new idea offers an attack, drop other work and pursue it. Importance means there's a plausible line of attack, not just big consequences. Ambition is choosing to stand where lightning strikes rather than doing safe routine work. Keep 10 to 20 important problems in mind. When a new idea offers an attack, drop other work and pursue it. Importance means there's a plausible line of attack, not just big consequences. Ambition is choosing to stand where lightning strikes rather than doing safe routine work. Choosing to stand where lightning strikes. Courage compounds with drive. Compounds with drive. Knowledge and productivity grow like compound interest. The extra hour of focused thinking day after day multiplies results if applied intelligently. Courage here is the discipline to keep going and to reframe constraints into assets. Beware of the fame trap. After a big win, it takes courage to keep planting acorns, small promising problems, rather than hunting only for the next grand slam. Hamming argues that early fame can sterilize ambition unless you deliberately continue taking on tractable problems. I don't understand what he means by acorns. This means like you start valuing things that the world thinks is important rather than rather than you naturally think is important. I'm guessing that's what he means by that. Or does he just mean like daily output? Like some people stop doing the daily output, small promising problems. Balance belief and doubt. Effective ambition requires tolerating ambiguity. Effective ambition requires tolerating ambiguity. The fear of unknown, the fear of uncertainty is the biggest fear right now. That's the biggest fear. Believe your theory enough to act. Doubt it enough to notice misfits and improve it. Track anomalies deliberately. Darwin's habit. Effective ambition requires tolerating ambiguity. Believe your theory enough to act. Doubt it enough to notice misfits and improve it. Track anomalies deliberately. Practical courage in the system. Ambition isn't fighting everything. It's learning to use the system so your energy goes into important work. Ambition isn't fighting everything. It's learning to use the system so your energy goes into important work. Pick your battles. Don't let ego or anger drain momentum. Present results well. Communication is part of ambitious science. Actionable habits for Hamming. Keep a live list of important problems. Revisit weekly. Okay. We'll keep a list of important problems. I actually keep a list of important problems. That is so interesting. Richard Hamming. List of important problems. There are a couple that come to mind. What happens to SEO in the age of LLM? Create an AI brain. We've been doing this. Push limits of agentic browsers. produce produce video content to win in AI. UBI for hours spent in flow state. Okay, some random things that came to my mind. Anyways, reserve great thoughts time. Great thoughts time. That is so interesting. Like, we reserve worry time, but we don't reserve great thoughts time. That is so interesting. I am gonna add great thoughts time to my calendar, because we are adding worry time, but we are not thinking about great thoughts time. That is so stupid. Okay. Okay, and I'm gonna repeat this weekly on Sunday. All right, perfect. Make bold but credible commitments with deadlines to harness pride. Reframe constraints into advantages, generalize solutions so others can build on them. Make bold with credible commitments with deadlines to harness pride. Reframe constraints into advantages, generalize solutions so others can build on them. Keep your door open enough to sense what's important in the broader environment. Courage is the willingness to choose and persist on important, risky questions. Ambition is the quiet, sustained decision to do first-class work, and structure your habits, environment, and communication to make the outcome likely. Let's see. How to structure your habits, environment, and communication to do first-class work. Practical, sometimes counterintuitive strategies. Habits. Work on important problems. Regularly ask yourself which problems in your field truly matter. Keep a live list of 10 to 20 important problems, and when an opportunity or new idea presents itself, be ready to drop lesser things and pursue it. Dedicate Friday afternoons exclusively to thinking about big questions in the direction of your field, not routine work. Compound effort. Consistent extra effort, like an extra hour of thinking each day, compounds dramatically over time, outpacing raw talent if applied intelligently. Focus and commitment. When you're committed deeply to a problem, your subconscious will work on it. Avoid distractions that important problems occupy the center of your attention. Self-challenge. Make public or semi-public commitments with deadlines. I'll have it for you Tuesday, to harness your pride and drive yourself to deliver. Reframe constraints. When faced with limitations, reinterpret them as opportunities. Constraints can spark creative solutions and even produce breakthroughs. Reframe constraints. When faced with limitations, reinterpret them as opportunities. Constraints can spark creative solutions and even produce breakthroughs. Generalize solutions. Don't settle for solving single isolated problems. Develop broad methods or frameworks so your work can scale and others can build upon it. Keep your door open. When a closed door focus brings short-term productivity, open door collaboration leads to being tuned into what's important in the field, often leading to more significant work. Use the system, don't fight it. Learn to work with and gently influence organizational structures rather than expending energy in constant opposition. Educate your bosses and colleagues on what you need and draw support from the system. Social adaptation. Appear to conform where helpful in dress or manners to avoid unnecessary friction. Reserve rebellion for genuinely important issues, not for mere ego assertion. Leverage support staff. Acknowledge and credit people who help, from programmers to secretaries, and build goodwill that pays off in critical moments. Positive attitude. View problems and even organizational quirks from a positive angle, reframing defects as assets when possible. Sell your work. Excellence isn't enough. You must present it so others want to engage. Write papers and reports that readers actually stop to read. Write papers and reports that readers actually stop to read. Effective presentations. Learn to give both formal talks and informal pitches right when decisions are being made. Frame the big picture before the details and make it memorable and accessible. Practice and observation. Observe what makes talks and papers memorable versus forgettable. Aim for clarity, breadth, and engagement, not just technical completeness. Collaboration. Foster a reputation for generosity, helpfulness, and openness so people want to engage with and build on your ideas. It's not only your intellectual ability, but how you organize your daily habits, create an environment receptive to important work, and communicate effectively that determines whether you will do first class work. Did he work out? Did he work out? Tell me. Did Richard Hamming work out? Oh my god, I forgot to open this thing. Okay. If you mean Richard Hamming, there's no indication in his talk or common biographical resources that he discussed your workout or fitness routine. Mindset, habits for intellectual work and professional environment. Nothing about physical exercise. No. Did any of the people mentioned in this paper work out? Tell me, at least one. Fitness. How can you forget? How can you not think about fitness and only work? Wow. I focus on their work and traits, not fitness routines. If you want, I can look up specific individuals from biographies and interviews. Oh, J. Robert Oppenheimer. Yes, please analyze the list of people mentioned in the transcript. Engage in regular exercise or workout routines. Yes, go. Here's one known about exercise or physically active habits for notable people mentioned in the Hamming's talk. Famously physically active in playful ways, he juggled, even built a juggling robot. Whoa, Claude Shannon. Rode a unicycle in Bell Labs hallways and practiced with the MIT Juggling Club. These are coordination intensive activities and a form of regular physical practice. Albert Einstein, he walked frequently, often to and from the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton. Oh, so Albert Einstein was here. And Richard Hamming said that it did more good than bad. It did more bad than good. Very interesting. Very interesting. New Jersey. Okay, I'm gonna go to Princeton. Just true. So, wow, I was so close. Not so close, but kind of close. This is Manhattan, and this is Institute for Advanced Study. All right, save. Favorites. I want to go here. Oh, it says one Einstein. Doctor. Wow. The address is 1 Einstein Institute for Advanced Study. Wow, look at this beautiful. Wow. I want to go here. Look at this. What is this? Everything is so nice. Feels like you have to wear like a suit over here or something. You cannot just go in your streetwear. 1 Einstein Drive. Let's go. Alright, tell me. Claude Shannon, Albert Einstein, he walked frequently and loved sailing. Walking was a regular habit. Sailing was a favored low exertion pastime. In periods of illness, he restricted activity, noting 50 paces is the only physical exercise that I am allowed, but generally he took daily walks and recreational sails. Grace Hopper. No specific workout routine. When she joined the US Navy Reserve, she completed demanding midshipmen's training and graduated first in her class, implying substantial physical and conditioning during that period. Standard biographies rarely highlight exercise habits, and Hamming's transcript doesn't discuss fitness. Bro, check all the names. Okay, tell me, J. Robert. There's so many good names over here. Give me fitness routines of Enrico Fermi, William Shockley, at least the popular names: Isaac Newton, Thomas Edison, Louis Pasteur. Interesting. Grace Hoppers. Extraordinarily vigorous and loved games and sport, especially played tennis with great intensity and also enjoyed mountain climbing, sometimes leading groups as a guide on hikes. Competitive and energetic approach to sports was notable, but there is no record of a formal structured workout routine. Rather, he exercised through active games and outdoor activities. Intense, especially played tennis with great intensity. G. Robert Oppenheimer. There's a little evidence of regular fitness routine. Quite thin, heavy smoker. Horseback riding in his youth. Hiked in New Mexico. No documentation of dedicated physical exercise habit as an adult. William Shockley. No reputable records indicate a specific fitness routine or systematic exercise habit. Controversial later life, non physical fitness. Overwhelmingly dominated by study, at times working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, reportedly entirely neglecting food, sleep, recreation. Forced to do farm chores and later walked around Cambridge, but as an adult, there is no record of him performing dedicated physical exercises or having a fitness routine. Suffered due to overwork. Suggests Edison had a fitness routine. Most accounts describe him as focused nearly every waking hour on inventions and experiments, averaging little sleep, but moving frequently around his workshops. Demands of his work environment rather than structured workouts. Okay, very interesting. Okay, see, wow, we went into a beautiful rabbit hole. That was amazing. That was amazing. Kevin Kwok. Everything because of Kevin Kwok. Thank you. Entirely judge Stripe podcast on whether they have actually finished at least one beer by the end and refuse to watch one until that's true. It could truly be Hot Ones level great format, but only if everyone is actually legally binge drinking while they real talk. What is this? Slow burn so intense. I'm on the 11th chapter and the characters haven't even met yet. Robert Caro getting to Lyndon Johnson's birth on page 17 in the book he wrote about Lyndon Johnson. Robert Caro getting to Lyndon Johnson's birth on page 70 in the book he wrote about. Fun Andrew guy. Okay, very interesting. Library fan lives on city. Slow burn so intense. I'm on the 11th chapter and the characters haven't even met yet. This is funny. Diego. Operator level velocity example from ramp with concrete shipping pace. Diego. Let's go, Diego. What do we have? By the way, new Wi-Fi name has been shipped. Not updated over here for me. Diego's axe is design at ramp. This is more meaningful.
Being right. I think for us, we've switched that over to rewarding. Most companies punish failure, and they reward being right. I think for us, we've switched that over to rewarding making decisions quickly. Whether they're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. You know, if it took you 6 months to make a decision and you're wrong in 6 months. If it took you 2 weeks, you had no idea what you were picking. You were wrong maybe 4 times over 8 weeks, and then you're going to done in 2 months, you might be right 2 months later versus 6 months with your first shot. So the more shots you can take, the faster you're gonna learn. And in order to do that, you have to do two things, which is make it really easy for people to iterate, make decisions, and then reduce the risk of being wrong.
Reduce the risk of being wrong. Oh, I forgot to like. Sorry, Diego. Whoa, you don't have the X link. That is crazy. Yeah, right here. I share all the secrets of how we run design at TriRamp and how the design team contributes to the company's success. You only hear from me on this one, but it's a whole team effort. La Cabra. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Where are we at? Why Combinator? Why it's high signal? Bro, where's the link? What is happening? Funding plus problem solution clarity. Aurelian automates 911 non-emergency calls. Strong example of AI and critical infra. High impact AI ops wins are in public services with clear staffing bottlenecks. Clear staffing bottlenecks, exactly as we talked about in health as well. Bro, you don't have X? What is happening, Perplexity? Why are you doing this? OpenAI seemed to have launched something. Build the fastest and easiest to use open source LLM interface and serving engine. Raw flow. Two important principles. Congrats to Aurelian. 911 centers are 30% of its staff swarmed by non-emergency calls, resulting in longer waits for real emergencies. Aurelian automates hundreds of thousands of calls monthly, letting staff focus on saving lives. TechCrunch. TechCrunch is still relevant, yes. Aurelian is stop prompting adoption of AI voice assistants to handle non-urgent calls and free human dispatchers for true emergencies. Salon booking automation pivoted to this problem and raised a 14 million. Originally focused on salon booking automation pivoted to this problem and raised 14 million Series A led by NIA. Issues like noise complaints, parking violations, and stolen wallet reports, escalating real emergencies to human dispatchers immediately. Deployed in over a dozen centers, including Snohomish County, Chattanooga, Kalamazoo. AI replaces unfilled positions rather than existing staff amid high turnover and long dispatcher shifts. Hyper, 6.3 million seed, prepared, but NIA claims Aurelian is uniquely live at scale, handling thousands of calls daily. So interesting. Again, this is similar to Richard Hamming. What Richard Hamming said, that you keep doing interesting work, you keep a tab, you are building expertise in something. You keep a tab of the most interesting problem or the interesting problems that you're interested in. You keep your doors open. You keep your doors open to understand that, okay, if the work that you're doing could be implemented somewhere else in a much more high impact use case. And that's exactly what happened over here. They were working on booking automations using voice assistants, and then they're like, oh, there's a better opportunity, more impact, and a more important problem that we could be solving over here using the same expertise that we have built with booking automations. Just in more. So this is the cousin. Demonstrates an agent autonomously selecting models, prompts, and stitching outputs for fully AI-generated video. Near-term media production shift. Agentic pipelines are collapsing. Creative tool chains expect rapid content automation. Expect rapid content automation. Wow. Oh, Ted has some response. Okay. What is this? Hearing multiple reports that the girls are exporting their WhatsApp messages and taking them to ChatGPT for relationship analysis. My ex showed me this when it first came out. Oh my god. Okay, now I feel like I want to do this. My ex showed me this when it first came out. I was shocked how well it could replace a therapist with an objective third-party POV. Okay. Okay, we have to do this. We have to do this. We have to do this. I'm doing it. All right. I'll give more context to ChatGPT after its first response. Okay. Tone and energy is playful and light-hearted. Okay. They respond with mild humor, which suggests some rapport, communication flow. There's a timing mismatch. Relationship signals, friendly, not yet deeply personal. Still in the feel each other's schedule and quirk stage. No signs of tension. Both sides are open to rescheduling. The dog is a recurring social anchor. It gives you a casual, repeatable reason to meet. Oh. If you wanted to deepen, more personal conversation threads will be needed beyond logistics. I can give you 3 subtle ways to turn these walk planning text into something with more spark. Yes. Wow. Add a story or curiosity hook. Let's walk the dog at 5. I've got a wild story to tell you. That builds intrigue and makes the meetup feel more like an event than logistics. Layer in playful stakes. Turn scheduling into a tiny game. If I make it on time tomorrow at 5, you owe me dog's favorite treat. Keep the tone fun and builds inside jokes. Weave in light personal connection. After confirming the time, drop in something about them or yourself. 5 p.m. works. Also, I'm curious, what's the dog's weirdest habit? This shifts the conversation toward personality and stories, which deepen rapport. I can also give you a scripted progression that naturally moves from these casual walks into more personal hangouts. Want me to map that out? Okay. Okay, this is so interesting. Okay. Mike showed me this when it first came out. I was shocked how well it could replace a therapist with an objective third party POV. I use it across relationships now. You can share screenshots, ask it to evaluate, provide recommendations, and even help with thought journaling. You can evaluate what the two people did wrong, what they could have done better. Evaluating the conversation, here are some areas where each individual may have encountered difficulties and potential improvements. Blue bubbles. What could be perceived as wrong? They may have been perceived as defensive and dismissive at times, which can escalate the conflict. They set boundaries but also engage in a way that could be seen as contradicting those boundaries, which may have confused the other person. What they could have done better, they could have acknowledged the other person's feelings and concerns more explicitly without dismiss them. Can you put this into a thought journal format for me that outlines situation, trigger, initial reaction, negative automatic thoughts, supporting evidence, opposing evidence, balanced alternative thought, outcome learning? Bro. This is too much analysis. Certainly, a thought journal can be a helpful tool for understanding and managing emotional responses to difficult situations. Here's a format you could use. Receive a series of messages that felt confrontational and negatively assumptive, focusing on past events and personal shortcomings. Initial reaction, feeling distressed, cornered, and overwhelmed by the negative focus and the use of you, which felt accusatory. They don't see or dash my efforts or the progress I have made. Very interesting. Scary how many jobs could be displaced with AI therapist. Another one on the list. In the past 144 years, technology has what is this? Technology has created more jobs than it's remote to believe that the same. Okay. Whoa, this is good. Complement a therapist, not replace one. ChatGPT can serve as emergency call of sorts if you can't see a therapist as soon as you would like. All right. I think sometimes people lead into overanalysis. All right, partner A16Z AI twin to Omore tweets. Omore. Okay. Okay, Olivia Moore. Olivia Moore. Oh, more tweets. Oh, more tweets. Oh, more tweets. Okay, that is good. AI creative tool state of play. Modalities: image editing, video editing, 3D world generation, characters motion, bonus creative studio, speech generation, music generation, 3D world generation, consistency. What are the creative portfolio? Element Labs, Udio, Krea, World Labs, Luma, Descript, Sesame, OpenAI, Fal, Captions, Replicate. I would love to meet. I'm not setting a course or anything. I made this tech for something else and figured I should share it. I will likely be outdated in 1 week given the current speed of progress, but I hope you enjoy for now. 3D, audio, Udio, characters, Hedra, Sync Labs, the world's most natural lip sync tool, no training required. Hedra, Get Cartwheel, Wiggle, Creative Studios. Alright, PJ. He's doing some good stuff. We'll give him a follow. Or maybe not. Promise. Wonder Studios. A new era of storytelling begins. Nano Banana. Nano Banana is cool. Alright, where are we at? This video is entirely AI generated and it was made by chatting with an AI agent, decides which models to use, writes its own prompts and stitches together the outputs. I generally can't believe this hasn't gone viral yet. This is Selfie Studio.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna do a house tour. Hey guys.
It's really fun to go back and forth with the agent to refine your video. I started with a 2-second clip just to test, and as you can see, I'm blown away by the result. Dude, what is this? What is this? Dude, this is insane. Can I extend it to have her say, today I'm going to do a house tour? That's awesome that you love it. Oh, wow. You talk to AI? Dude, okay. Let me create the extended version where she says both lines. I'll generate the new audio and sync it to her image. Perfect. Now let me create the extended talking head video with both lines. Okay, cool. Seema Amble. Once high signal thesis note on computer using agents as the next step beyond RPA Copilot's practical implications for enterprise software. Context and application control are key to unlocking agentic coworkers. No link ID in snippets. Supported by feed capture. Yeah, something weird is happening. I don't know if X is not allowing it to get it. Seema Amble, partner, A16Z, San Francisco. Seema Amble.
Fast these tools get.
New piece from us, A16Z on computer using agents. They will enable. Okay, how many followers? 17.5. I think for A16 to become an A16Z partner, I think it has become a requirement now. I think they might be making this a requirement that, okay, you need to be okay with doing a podcast. You need to be okay with just becoming a Twitter influencer now. You have to keep posting. Getting contextualization right will be the key for application use. At A16Z, one of our central theses is that AI is eating labor. We've already, software is eating the world, AI is eating labor. We have already seen this with voice agents, copilots, and next-gen RP systems, each pushing the boundaries of what software can automate. We believe the next major step is computer using agents. Systems trained on browser and desktop tasks that combine reasoning and action as seamlessly as humans do. Marketing, product, finance, sales, HR, recruiting. AI is eating labor. Computer using agents. Systems trained on browser and desktop tasks that combine reasoning and action as seamlessly as human do. I think one interesting thing is also keep upgrading your software, keep upgrading the tools around you. That has become so important. Keep upgrading, keep upgrading. That has become really important. This just makes me think I should add one more idea to my chat. So I have this ChatGPT tasks going on, and let's see. Okay. I'm always excited about, let's see, if we go over here, give me 5 ideas, hacks to upgrade my life. What does it say? Calendar as command center, time box your priorities, block 90-minute focus slots for your top 1 to 2 outcomes each day. Auto protect deep work, set recurring do not disturb focus blocks with notification silencing. Pre-schedule energy, add 3 recurring walk plus sunshine. Wow, how does it know that I love sunshine? 15-minute blocks late AM, mid PM, early evening. Friday reset, 30-minute weekly review to prune, plan, and set next week's top 3 outcomes. I think this is also interesting. I think I'm pretty much like every day, constantly, like the moment I'm done with the stream, I'm not thinking about that, okay, what's next, how do we push to, how do we push next time? So it's interesting. I don't think we are in this we are in this age where we can have like a weekly cadence and be like, oh, let me come back next week, and until then I will just keep executing. You gotta keep adapting. You gotta keep adapting to the world all the time. Habit stacking with 2 minute starter reps. Fitness, learning, read 1 page while coffee brews. Writing ideation, jot 3 bullet ideas right after lunch. 10 air squats. 10 push-ups after brushing teeth. Use visible triggers, sticky notes where the habit starts, and track streaks for 30 days. Systems over goals. Build default yes environments. Sleep. Set bedroom to cool, dark, and screen-free. Put your charger outside the bedroom. Nutrition. Default fridge lineup. Pre-washed greens, proteins, berries, nuts. Movement. Leave a kettlebell, yoga mat in your most used room. Calendar. 3 micro sessions. Focus. Q2 desktop profiles. Deep work. No socials and everything else. Information diet with smart inputs. Replace doom scroll. I think this is also very interesting. It's like the moment you love your work, I think our work is also scrolling. The moment you start loving your work, you forget about all this doom scrolling stuff. So yeah, like if you are getting into doom scrolling, this just means that you are not excited about life right now. Mainly it's work. You're not building momentum towards work. Subscribe to 3 high signal sources and check them once daily. Create a read later funnel, 1 tap to save long form batch read for 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, ratio rule. Oh, nice. This is really good. For every 60 minutes of consuming, spend 20 minutes producing. I also have this idea of a Twitter client, of a new Twitter client, where after reading 10 tweets, you gotta post 1. Only then you unlock the next 10 tweets. Spend 20 minutes producing, but obviously that doesn't work if you are in a deep research mode. Oh wow, and that's for pro users. If you're in a deep research pro user mode, then you pay for that deep research mode. So that's how people get like, that is interesting. Or maybe that's just a new mode, that's a creator mode, just like how ChatGPT has study mode, which is like, hey, we'll not give you answers, we'll help your brain. We'll direct your brain towards the right answer. We'll let you figure things out. Similarly, there should be a creator mode that, okay, if your priority is that I want to be a creator on the platform and not the 99% of the masses that is just consuming the content, then yeah, do this. Turn on the mode. Unfollow 20% of low signal feeds, add finding voices. Yeah, I'm also starting to just mute people, but also just like focusing on high signal is better than going out and muting people. I think, yeah, just like better use of time. Automation, standing grocery list, or order staples every 2 weeks. Calendar link for scheduling. Default 25, 15-minute meetings. Okay, very interesting. I think it's so interesting. It's so important to just do the most important things rather than spend time optimizing and cutting the least important things. If you just focus on the most important things, which is like work, and fitness. That's it. If you just focus on that, you can stop worrying about the little things, optimizing the little things. Jeff Morris, yes, finally we have a link. Cut through VC myth making reputation outweighs supposed proprietary networks once a deal hits the market. What is that? Many venture capitalists talk about their proprietary networks. In reality, the only proprietary thing in our industry is reputation. The best founders find ways to meet investors. Once a deal hits the market, any supposed proprietary access goes away. Once a deal hits the market, any supposed proprietary access goes away. What truly sets VCs apart? The best founders find ways to meet investors. Once a deal hits the market, any supposed proprietary access goes away. What truly sets VCs apart and what actually proprietary is a reputation for doing one thing exceptionally well that founders want on their cap table. If you build that, then yes, you have something proprietary, but it's not a network, it's you, and congratulations, because that's rare. This reminds me of the Derek Sivers quote, which is like, mastery is rare. The rich can buy it. The impatient can't rush it. What was that? Give me. You know what I'm talking about. Yes. Mastery is the best goal because the rich can buy it, the impatient can rush it, the privileged can inherit it, and nobody can steal it. You can only earn it through hard work. Mastery is the ultimate status. Whoa, what is this? Mastery is the best goal because the rich can buy it, the impatient can rush it. What you want to do is just respond every time with something extremely intellectual. That's it. That's the goal. Mastery is the best goal because the rich can buy it, the impatient can rush it, the privileged can't inherit it, and nobody can steal it. You can only earn it through hard work. Mastery is the ultimate status. Peter Yang. Tactical hiring ask designer engineers using Claude Code. Signals demand for hybrid builder designer using LLM tooling. The designer engineer using AI profile is rising. Skill stack worth developing on hiring. I think I pretty much get what he's saying, but let's see if he has anything else to say. The banana is cooking. It's so fun to build these days. Wish I had these tools to play when I was younger. Learning about coding syntax is hella boring in comparison. Okay. Chubby citing once I signal early large-scale evidence of entry-level employment declines in AI-exposed roles per ADP data, material for workforce planning. AI is already impacting entry-level job markets. Plan, skill, ladders, and reskilling now. Francois Cholet. No. Early large-scale evidence. Is this the same one? No, it's not the same. Chubby. Who's Chubby? Chubby sounds like a weird name. Okay, Chubby. No. Chubby, and let's say AI. I think this is the Chubby. He's also talking about AI. Inner speech transcribed into words with AI. The first steps toward telepathic communication with 74% decoding accuracy. However, it only works if you think a secret mental password first. Wow. That is cool. Reads thoughts from speech impaired patients. That is so cool. That is so cool. Grok code fast 1 released. Blazing fast, very cheap. Wow, nice photo. A speedy and economical reasoning model that excels at agent decoding now available for free. GitHub Copilot Cursor Client, Kilo Code, Rogue Code, Open Code, Windsurf. Windsurf is listed at the end. Okay. Generally available. 20 cents per 1 million input tokens. Really cool. We built Grok Code Fast 1 from scratch, starting with a brand new lightweight model architecture combined with novel improvements to accelerate serving efficiency. Grok Code Fast 1 sets a new standard for both speed and affordability. End user satisfaction is measured by real world human evaluations. Available for free next 7 days. Prompt engineering. I've been using the model the past few weeks as my daily driver, and the speed has made a massive difference in my productivity. It's a delight to use. Feels like all leading frontier labs have fully shifted their focus on increasing general intelligence to coding capabilities, efficiency toward intelligence too cheap to meter. Efficiency, intelligence too cheap to meter. I think that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. You don't want general intelligence. You want coding so you can build, and you want to make this entire process cheaper and cheaper. Both are pretty useful advancements, but I don't know what to think of this. You may launch videos. Wow. I see 2 of Donald's work. Really cool. You made launch videos. Oh my god. Another Donald. Head of studio. You may launch videos now. Let's celebrate them together. Announcing the nominees for playback by Went Off Script. Cast your vote. Winners will be announced live. Minimal viable demos. I'm going to start a walk club where we just go aimless 10k walks around SF, building products, previously Zora and Atlassian. First day in SF. Automating systems in RE. Asylum is a venture firm dedicated to the creative act of building companies. We believe the best founders are artists. They're obsessive about new and unusual things and often misunderstood for long periods of time, even lifetimes. Bringing new products and companies into the world is their art. Our promise is simple: to defend their efforts at all costs. Let's go. If you want something from someone, don't try to hide it. Brutal honesty is so important. They will for sure notice, and they will rank you with much lower trust and friendship. Same with whatever ego you have. Admit publicly, it's there, and suddenly everyone are better off. Stop pretending things everyone notices, even they pretend they don't. I think the reason people do this is that they naively think that people will react slightly negatively if they notice. But actually people are so afraid of conflict, they will pretend it never happened and just dislike you more in secret. By default, everyone assumes that everyone abides by all cultural rules, which include lying about your intentions for why you do things. Amongst others, you can disarm the situation in an instant by discussing such things and being honest. Now you can talk like you know each other. Interesting. I don't think we found this one Oh, we could have found, but that was cheaper. Okay, anyways. Context for cost curves, cadence, and space access. Prime Intellect launch via Lucas. Open RL environments. Closed lab bottlenecks, important for community-driven progress towards open AGI. Coin Telegraph. Multiple signals that US commerce is moving macro data on chain, if accurate, meaningful for data integrity, finance infra. Core growth levers complement video number 4 with short video clip for team onboarding, bankless. Early interview signal with major TradFi player on ETH relevance for institutional adoption narratives. Wrong link. JMJ. Wrong link. Okay. I want to look at this first. Each advances science, engineering, policy, open infrastructure, or helping move the civilization forward. X20, analyze X speed. I want to do X20 civilization. X20 civilization. Okay. Why is everything in lowercase? David, so US Department of Commerce macro data being published on-chain via Coinbase base increases transparency, auditability, and programmable access to core economic stats. Interesting. Okay. And David is doing ecosystem. Okay. Cornell. Coinbase is partnering with the US Department of Commerce to bring official government macroeconomic data on chain. On-chain, higher transparency, better accessibility. It's only fitting that the Commerce Department President Donald Trump, the crypto president, publicly release economic statistical data on the blockchain. We're making America's economic truth immutable and globally accessible like never before, cementing our role as the blockchain capital of the world. And everybody has to admit that 3.3% GDP growth is impressive. Really cool. Really cool. Bullish. And everybody has to admit. Really cool. Really cool. Unlocking new public good infra and fintech use cases. Okay, Coinbase. All right. Doing the same thing. Institutional create bridges between public data and decentralized rails. Wait, did I like it? Gotta like it. I like it. I like this. 6 hours ago. I like this. All right. Ethereum. Forecaster decentralized social protocol built on Ethereum. Users' own data, identity data, and social graph. Open portable, censorship resistant social infra is foundational step for Web 2 silos. Whoa. Proper, what do we call it? Acknowledgement. Forecaster is built on Ethereum. Forecaster, what does watch say? Economic freedom maximalist. Forecaster is built on Ethereum. Forecaster XYZ is a decentralized social protocol that lets developers build apps where users own their data, identity, and social graph. It aims to make social networking open, portable. Feel free to DM me. Dev ecosystem. Product co-producer Ethereum film. Oh wow, Ethereum just is normally reposting stuff. New deep dive. Ethereum in India. Number 1 in grassroots crypto adoption. 30% tax plus 1% TDS Devfolio India Stack, ZK Uniclub's vibrant community, surge of young devs. Really cool. Really cool. Railway. Turnkey templates to deploy leading open LLMs. Lower barriers for developers and organizations to self-host advancing verifiable and controllable AI stacks. Stressed, blessed, deploy them on Railway. Parth, nice. Deploy them on Railway. There's also Olama. Meta's Llama. Okay. Framer announces 100 million to scale pro-grade web creation, channel to standards, performance developer tooling, compounds the speed at which small teams ship high-quality public-facing products.
Company uses a website builder like Framer. It's not a serious tool. Real companies code websites by hand. Handoffs are good, actually. If a serious brand used Framer, it was probably a rogue intern. Nothing public-facing. Definitely nothing critical.
Serious brands you know and ones you'll come to know already use Framer.
Mom! Can I borrow your mascara? Mom! No legit.
Wow. Framer is becoming the standard for professional sites. Today we're announcing 100 million funding to take it further. Public-facing products. A16Z. Our expertise compounds in the age of AI. Practical takeaways that framing, validating, and operating AI systems is an emerging meta skill. Framing, validating, and operating AI systems is an emerging meta skill that materially boosts productivity and innovation throughput. Expertise compounds in the age of AI. The productivity of an expert is outpacing everything else. Those who know how to frame problems, test outputs, and pull the right levers are extracting far more value.
Productivity, it's super interesting, which is the experts are now becoming, the productivity of an expert is outpacing everything else. So we're seeing that, where the expert engineers are like I don't mind that it's a slot machine where I'm pulling it and I see what comes out because I know I can still get 10x productivity and I get it good enough that it's worth that productivity gain. Whereas if you were like not an expert engineer and you did the slot machine, you probably would try and go deploy, all the ones that were also wrong.
And you actually don't know which lever to pull.
Right.
The big thing is like really knowing what to ask for and what language to use.
Well, I think that this is just an incredibly important point that you're making. And it really gets to the heart of what it means to use a tool.
I don't know which one of them is a partner at A16Z.
Like, you put me in front of like a 12-inch chop saw and say, like, go fix the text.
Oh yeah, Eric, okay.
Really bad idea. It's super interesting, which is
AI simplifying the human expertise. I don't know. Very cringe. Expertise compounds faster in the age of AI. Okay. Author, Claude AI. Alright, we saw this. Bringing LLM coding and documentation features directly into the primary IDE for Apple devs. Bringing LLM coding and documentation features directly into the primary IDE for Apple devs, accelerating software creation cycles. Notion HQ. Group mentions. Team level coordination, automation, small UX primitives like this measurably raise knowledge work velocity at scale. Software creation cycles. Okay. No more manually tagging multiple teammates at mention a group to notify them all at once. Got it. Got it. Huge channel of life update. Love the rapid fire shipping. Really cool. Really cool. Xcode 26 beta. Message Claude Sonnet 4. Users can now log into the Claude account from Xcode. Generate code and documentation, automatically fix errors, and create inline playground using coding intelligence features powered by Claude Sonnet 4. Really cool. Developer documentation, coding intelligence updates. Interesting. Poe platform. Multiple models on the same prompt in line, side by side benchmarking is crucial to robust model selection and better evidence driven AI usage. Okay. Interesting. Original Gemini 2.5 flash image. Compare command. We made it easier to see how different models respond to the same prompt in a single chat. Compare add mention. This is actually really cool. Yeah. Add a banana rocket ship. Flux. Quinn. GBD4. I'm guessing this one won. Flux. Really cool. Poised by Best AI all in one place. VO3. More. I think Poe is by Reddit, right? Or founders of Reddit. The best, yeah, all in one place. Wait, how many likes did this get? Is this popular? Oh. Wait. 28th August 8. Okay. Interesting. Comparing, this is actually interesting. Side-by-side benchmarking is crucial to robust model selection and better evidence-driven AI usage. I think this is very important. It's interesting. Okay. Audio starter kit updates. Open source repo bring production-ready multimodal audio features within minutes, accelerating creative and assistive apps. Okay. Jake Saper appoints a seasoned operator as president to scale GTM operational excellence in AI infra companies tend to translate into more robust, accessible deployment tooling for builders. Bastion. Dane, provocative product framing, the missed opportunity to reinvent Dreamweaver for modern vibe coding. Signals room for next-gen human plus AI native creative coding environments to democratize software creation. Huge miss by Adobe not relaunching Dreamweaver as a vibe coding platform. Dreamweaver, the vibest of names. Preston. Practical career resilience playbook for founders in transition. Consulting is a way to keep learning, build network, and fund runway. Career resilience playbook for founders in transition. Consulting is a way to, that makes sense, and aggregate these behaviors, increase founder survival and innovation. If you want a stationary period, is that Daylight? What is this company? Application Club, advising past CEO Smart Games founder. If you are transitionary period co-founder left, waiting on an acquisition, can get funding, start consulting to pass the time and meet more people. Pauline, don't ask for SaaS ideas, maintain a deep backlog for lived problems. This mindset compounds builder velocity, increases the chance of shipping useful tools that solve real needs. I don't understand people asking for SaaS idea. I have a list of 50 plus projects I would like to build. This is very similar to the Richard Hamming thing. Builder velocity, increase the chance of shipping useful tools that solve real needs. Vijay, Figma's new variable with brush capabilities, small but meaningful design and leaps in design primitives expand with solar designers can express and ship without heavy pipelines. Variable with brush. Offset vector. Railway. Look into railway. Modern AI stack safely and reliably. Everything on-chain, everything exchange. Vision for comprehensive on-chain markets aligned with transparent, programmable, and globally accessible financial primitives. Same one. Claim that college cost specter is gone. is provocative. The civilizational angle is shift toward alternative education, credentialing, worth investigation as it affects human capital formation. Financially, this is the best time in decades to have kids. The looming specter of paying for college is completely gone. You're a 150 grand on fucking education that you could have got for $20 a month in subscription charges with ChatGPT. My alma mater, almost 90K a year now. Who is Nat Eliason? Crypto Confidential. Oh, we just looked into him today. Wow, this feels good. Daylight. Social media has done so much harm to young potential parents, scaring them out of having kids by amplifying the miserable whiners who get off on complaining. If you love being a parent, you should talk about it. Talk about it a lot. Would you like 9 kiddos for real? It's lovely. Pronatal stuff here after years of antenatal crap. Shoot your shot. If you have babies until you are 41, we can have 9 total. Shoot your shot. There's nothing funnier than a 2-year-old muttering shit. Proud of myself for not trying linear yet. Not gonna lie. Bullish. Quick question. My wife watched the demo with me and would love to jump in ASAP. Can I just give her the access code? Baby steps. Non-fiction writing as much as fiction. Okay, so he's doing something over there. Based app. Gate and community infrastructure choke points. Critical governance and openness debate, avoiding gatekeepers that could throttle agent ecosystems and web operability. Okay, perfect. Amazing. All right. 2 hour 47.